Today I'd like to share with you a video that I made on a topic that is very dear to my heart. The Trent Severn Waterway in central Ontario, Canada, has been more than a place on a map for me. It has been a constant thread in the fabric of my life. I grew up on the shores of Sturgeon Lake, where summer days stretched endlessly across the water and winters wrapped the shorelines in ice. As a teenager, I worked at a marina on Balsam Lake, where the scent of gasoline, fresh-cut cedar, and lake air became part of me. More than once, I traveled the length of the Trent Severn to the Big Chute Marine Railway, feeling the gentle rhythm of locks lifting and lowering us through the heart of Ontario. Even if humans had worked for 100 lifetimes, we could have never created this place from scratch. Its story began some 11,000 years ago, when the last glaciers of the Ice Age retreated from central Ontario. In their wake, they left a land carved by ice and water, a place shaped through centuries of freezing and thawing, of upheaval and rest. From these forces, the Trent and Severn watersheds were born. For countless generations since, Indigenous peoples have been caretakers and navigators of these waters, shaping both its cultural and natural balance. When Samuel de Champlain first traveled the waterway in 1615, he was stepping into a world where indigenous roots had ran deep and enduring. By the 1800s, new waves of settlers, many from Britain and Ireland, were drawn to Upper Canada's waterway. For once the prized currency of the land gave way to timber. Harnessing the power of the rivers, small mill towns began to sprout along the banks. The waterway became a lifeline, carrying timber, barons, farmers, merchants, and travelers from town to town. After nearly a century of construction, the Trent Severn Waterway was finally completed in 1920. A chain of more than 40 locks, 50 kilometers of man-made canals, around 150 dams, and many stretches of water reshaped by dredging and flooding. What had once been a rugged, segmented route was now a fully navigable system. And with that came a new chapter, one where sleek pleasure craft and humble fishing boats replaced the working barges, and the waterway began to welcome visitors from around the world. Today I live in Lindsay, in the heart of the city of the Kawartha Lakes, a place I still call home. Here the waterway isn't just history, it's a living presence. I've known it as a playground, a workplace, and a passageway to adventure, and I know I always will return to its waters. Join me as I crisscross the province, visiting small towns and locks on the Trent Severn Waterway. So we start off at the Gannon's Narrows, and this location is right between Pigeon Lake and Buckhorn Lake. And it's a pretty cool spot to fly a drone. It's also a cool spot if you're a boater and you just want to hang out for the day. Next, we're in Lakefield. You can see the locks to the left. And I have to be careful because it is against the law to fly over top of the locks. Here we are at Campbellford, and I really like it here. This is a really cool spot. They've got a really nice provincial park and a suspension bridge that goes over top of the river. This is all man-made channel here, you can tell. Plus the original river is to the left, and there's a dam there. Down at the bottom right-hand corner is the actual locks, Campbellford Locks. And there's the suspension bridge at the provincial park. So next we've come to Burley Falls. And this is the falls section. The canal section is over on the other side by the boathouse there. This is definitely not navigable. I believe this is spring. Here it comes! And this is the Big Chute Marine Railway. And we used to love coming here when we were teenagers. Dad brought us the first time, and then after that we started coming on our own. And it was just an amazing adventure. As a 17, 18-year-old. I loved it. Gravity takes over and it changes cables. Actually, I've never seen that. That's cool. If you can see how the cables underneath just changed over to
almost like a braking system.
Yeah, and now it's going down. And the cables are applying pressure to stop it from rolling too fast.
And that's probably what pulls them up too.
Yeah. Yeah, it just goes the other way. Here I am at the Peterborough Lift Locks for this year's Lock and Paddle event, which they have every year. And I believe they have the same thing on the Rideau Canal system as well. Next, I'm visiting my hometown lock of Lindsay, and when I decided to do a video on the Trent Severn Waterway, I actually had to go out and get this video footage because I didn't have anything on Lindsay or Fenelon Falls or Kirkfield. So I took a couple hours and did a cross-country tour. Did the Lindsay Lock first, then went to Fenelon Falls, then went to Kirkfield. And some of the locks still have old cranks for the valves, and Lindsay's one, I didn't realize that, but the newer ones are all electronic now. This is my hometown. And now we have arrived at Fenelon Falls. I went to school in Fenelon Falls. These places don't seem that interesting to me because they're home. But after wandering around with my camera and doing these videos, I realized how much I've been taking Fenelon Falls and other areas for granted because I've lived on the Trent Severn Waterway my entire life. Very busy here in the winter time, so we used to come to this spot, skip class, and maybe smoke a little bit of marijuana. But yeah, as a kid, you take these places for granted. Like, I never thought of doing a video of Fenelon Falls because it's home. But it is kind of special. And my last stop is at the Kirkfield Locks, and this is pretty much right across the lake from where we lived in Balsam in Rosedale, Ontario. So we're quite familiar with the Kirkfield Lock. The canal actually goes over top of the roadway here. And this is the upper level. That leads to Balsam Lake. The road leading to Kirkfield. I believe the Peterborough lift lock is higher, but it's still quite the engineering. Remarkable. And I've traveled up and down on that thing. I don't know how many times. More than I can count. I think I'll have a seat.